What's going on, slave tards? Today I want to do a video about how the world is changing and it's not for the better, and how everything today that is being invented, it's stuff that doesn't help humanity, it hurts humanity, and stuff we don't need, right? It's been that way for a while. First, I want to address a comment from my last video, and this is from Mr. Hero 2574. And he says, dude, even if Bitcoin goes to zero tomorrow, you spent like 15 years being wrong. You and Don Harold, Peter Schiff, Robert Kiyosaki, George Vertile, Demcat, all of you and so many of you, so many people, all of you guys cost so many people so much money. First of all, I don't cost anybody any money because you shouldn't be doing anything based on some dude on YouTube. That makes you a loser. If you invest or make financial decisions based on some dude you see on the internet, you're a moron. So I didn't cost anybody anything. You need to let that topic go. You're a broken record, and you bugs were saying this crap way back in 2009, bro. Stop it and get some help. Okay, well, first of all, gold is at 3,600 and rising, right? Silver is, close to 42 bucks, right? But I know all you're going to say is how, I could have bought Bitcoin for 10 cents and now it's 111,000. But you're forgetting the fact that I would never buy Bitcoin because I said I would never buy it, right? I never believed in it. So even had I picked some Bitcoin up, on Mount Gox or whatever for $1, I would have long sold it at like 10 bucks, right? Because I never believed in it. Only the moronic, imbecile idiots like, Da Vinci J and those guys, right, who really believed in Bitcoin made a lot of money because they're morons, right? They got lucky because they believed in something so idiotic that the one thing that they did know that I didn't is how dumb people are, right? I guess they understood that they could con the world because the world was full of dumb people into buying vaporware, right? Or buying, like nothing, like air, right? And bidding it up to $110,000, maybe, but it doesn't make them smart, it just makes them lucky, right? Like it just makes them lucky. Because if you remember during the days when Bitcoin first came out, they were arguing that it is the perfect currency, right? It was the perfect currency. And that retailers worldwide one day would be taking it, right? And it would be used for commerce globally, right? And it would enable micropayments, right? Like, being able to read an article for, 1/2 of 1 penny or something like that and using Bitcoin to pay for that. And they would tell you how it was, the best currency because you could hide what you're doing from the government and it was anonymous. And literally it was nothing they said it was, right? So they had to morph it. This is how con artists work, right? When you have something that's worth nothing and has no utility, but the only way you're going to make money is if you pyramid scheme it and, convince idiots down the pyramid that it's going to be worth something, so that your initial investment goes up, you have to con them, right? So Bitcoin is the biggest con in world history. And it could, at some point, get big enough to take the financial markets down. Because it will. it will go down, right? Nothing in the world. Okay, so everyone that believes in Bitcoin believes it's never going to go down, right? It's going to go up forever. But there literally has never been anything in history that worked that way, right? It's just like Tulip Mania, right? You might have said during Tulip Mania, the guys saying that tulips were dumb and they were overpriced and really worthless and a dime a dozen, you know. But people were getting the price of a house for one tulip bulb. You know, back in the day, the guys that were getting a house for a tulip bulb might say, you idiot, you know, you should have gotten into tulips. But one day, tulips will be worthless again. And, you know, Bitcoin is no different. It is no different. When you have something the world does not need, right? The world doesn't need Bitcoin. It never did, right? If you want to protect yourself from the demise of a currency, you just bought real things. We have gold. We have silver, you know. We have real estate. We have land. You don't need some kind of freaking ones and zero digital nothingness to protect you from currency decline, right? But since millennials and the young, they've done nothing but grow up in the tech. They worship tech, right? They worship tech. Let's get real here. The younger generations worship tech as it's a god, right? So if you can convince them something, and they don't know anything either about tech. So if you can convince them that some worthless tech, some, you know, first revision of cryptocurrency. So first of all, anybody knows anything about software and advancement and technology knows that things come in the technology world, things go obsolete like this. It moves at the speed of light, right? So you're telling me that a piece of software that was revision 1.0 and has never changed, right, is not going to be obsolete, right? Come on. It's slow. It takes tremendous amounts of energy, and it's backed by nothing and worth nothing. I never believed in it. I never will believe in it, so I could have never made any money on it, right? Yeah. Could some idiot gone fly by night and bought a bunch of Bitcoin because he thought it was going to be the, you know, asset of the world and everything like that and believed in it because he believes in vaporware air get rich? Yes, right? Michael Saylor is one of the morons, right? But he's going to get his day. You just wait. You just wait, right? If there's a parabolic bubble and you don't participate, right? One, you could say, oh, you missed out on all the gains. But two, you could also say you missed out on getting absolutely crushed, right? Absolutely crushed, right? A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money in Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now. First of all, you know, this video is going to end up being me trashing Bitcoin. First of all, let's look at where it came from, right? This is the most idiotic thing in the world, right? Bitcoin is worth $2 trillion, but nobody knows where it came from. Like, too good, you know, they say if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? I've already showed on this channel where there's a white paper on how to make a mint, you know, from the NSA. It's called How to Make a Mint, you know, digital currency, blah, 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 in like 1980 or whatever. It's been out there. It's a white paper that basically, you know, describes Bitcoin. It's got all these people in the NSA. It's an NSA paper and all this stuff. Like, I'm not so sure it's not the bankers. I'm not so sure it's like not the CIA or NSA or even the Federal Reserve that created it, right? In the history of the world, who has controlled the money? It's always been the vampire squid. It's always been the bankers. So you're telling me that these bankers are allowing something to circumvent their fiat money system, they're just going to sit by and allow it to happen. Oh my God. Right? Only if they can make some money on it. But the first time it has any threat against their system, you can see that it's going to be crushed so fast. You know, it might be that the Federal Reserve is Satoshi and they drop, you know, all their billion or million coin or whatever they have on the market in one day and just cause a crash, you know. Or it might be saying, oh, we're going to come up with this new Fed coin. This is the new digital currency, you know, or this stable coin backed by the dollar. And, you know, all competing currencies are illegal, right? These things are happening. You guys think that you're rich because you have Bitcoin. If you have not realized your riches in Bitcoin, you're stupid. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. I may have not made any money, but you have. You made $100,000s or whatever, millions of dollars in Bitcoin, but you're so stupid that you won't get out of it until it's too late. You won't. You won't, right? How long is this video? I don't know. It doesn't tell 11 minutes. Anyway, this is not what this video is about. The video is about the world we live in where I think tech companies are like 80% of the NASDAQ or whatever. They may be like 75% of the US stock market, right? It's some huge number. I don't know exactly. I have to go look it up, but it's huge. It's a huge percentage, right? And what are they selling to us right now, right? What is it that these tech people, you know, in these tech companies that are like $1 trillion valuations, what are they selling? What are they telling us, right? They're telling us that we need something that destroys all human art and creativity, right? And all human thought and education, right? They're saying that we need something to do everything for us, AI, right? Write our papers, do our, you know, write our resumes, do our work for us, spit out our documents for us, right? We need AI to create our videos for us, our imagery for us, right? My wife was telling me the other day she joined some group. We live in the Reno area, you know, and we love to go to Lake Tahoe, go kayaking, swimming. It's great, right? She was going to join some Facebook group called Keep Tahoe Blue or something about, you know, to preserve Lake Tahoe and keep it clean, right? And she's like, it was overrun by these fake AI videos of bear attacks and stuff. You know, you just, like, people are so dumb, not only do they buy Bitcoin, if you look at these videos, these AI videos, everybody in the comments thinks it's real, right? They've got the world convinced that this fake stuff that nobody needs, right, is real. We live in a world where the valuation of our financial system relies on companies that create things that are fake and that we don't need, right? And I would argue it's very detrimental to humanity. You see it. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Every day it's getting worse and worse and worse. There's more fake stuff. There's more garbage. There's more AI slop, right? It really is sad. I told you a long time ago on my first channel, I've been in tech for 25 years and I hate tech. I hate it. I think Alan Turing and the invention of the modern computer was the beginning of the end of humanity, right? I think digital will take over everything and we're going to live in the Matrix very soon. Peace.